If you know the feeling of dread at getting together with family for the holidays, or maybe when you see a family member calling, this video is for you. Welcome to Healing from A to Z with Masterful You and KB. I'm, of course, Chris Burke, and the topic today is family drama, how we need to heal from family drama, what it is, and why it's such a problem in our society. Like all of the other topics that we've been discussing on this healing journey, family drama is tough because it's been there as part of our experience since as far back as we can remember, which means that there's a lot of instinct-driven behavior in that, a lot of unconscious behavior that's just always been there. The way we show up with family, our expectations, good video to watch about family drama actually is expectations. Our expectations for how the situation is going to go, our role and how the dynamics play out. All of that has been happening at a subconscious level for so long that we are simply not aware of it. And what we're not aware of, we can't change. So that's why this process is all about bringing it to the surface. It's important to understand that behavior is coming from the unconscious. The motivations are coming from the unconscious. They are not aware, we are not aware of our role in a dynamic. We're not intending to do what's playing out most of the time. And I know there are a lot of people who would suggest that, the narcissist is absolutely intending to do what they do. But we need to remember that within each of us, there is the part of us that wants things to go our way. And there is also the part of us that is nurturing and kind, or what we often call the empath. All of us have the narcissist qualities and the empath qualities within us. The narcissist wears the narcissist mask because they're afraid of feeling the empath. They're afraid of being their empath qualities, so they try to deny those and put those in the background. Fear is driving that behavior. With the empath, we wear the empath to the forward. We're going to save and help and please and heal because we're afraid of wearing the narcissist to the front. We're afraid of actually saying, hey, I have some wants and needs here, and I'd like them to be addressed or at least recognized. So it's fear that's in common, and I find that a really good place to start because when we recognize that the behavior, no matter what it is being driven by fear on both sides or in any interactions, then we can actually allow ourselves the opportunity to sit back and say, okay, what would happen if I sat here and just observed the situation and looked for the evidence of fear, both in my own experience and in the experience of the other person? Because when we see fear playing its role, it's easier for us to have empathy, but also easier for us to extend grace to ourselves and say, wow, this whole thing that we've been acting out, making one another good guys and bad guys, getting triggered by one another's unconscious signals and behavior. All of that has been because we've all been afraid. We were afraid because we didn't understand how to change our experience, how to really own our experience, our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects all coming together and being integrated in a way that we're not afraid to be who we are. In fact, we love being who we are. It's a process in order to take what's unconscious, bring it to the conscious, and then decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to let go. But it's a process that's absolutely life-changing. And it starts with this simple exercise that I'm going to show you right now or walk you through right now. The first thing we do is we say, name three family drama situations that have occurred in the last, that come to mind. I was going to say the last year, and then it was like, well, for some people, maybe you stopped engaging with family a long time ago. So just name three times, three situations where family drama became out of control and you felt like a victim in that situation. And then name three family dramas in which other people accuse you of being the bad guy, the perpetrator in the situation. We're just trying to get a look at both sides of the coin because as long as we cast ourselves as only the perpetrator or only the victim, we're unable to rediscover and connect with our wholeness. So we really want to look at both parts and say, okay, I can see where this part of me shows up and I can see where that part of me shows up. And hey, it's okay to be human. This is the human experience. So let's just embrace it and see how we can cultivate it so that we can create lives we love inside a skin that we love to be in. Okay, so now that you've got your three scenarios where you were the victim and three scenarios where you were accused of being the perpetrator, draw a circle around that and say, this is my starting place for my family drama experience. When I think about family drama right now, this is what comes forward for me. It's just a bit of truth that will help you to kind of ground what you're talking about in this exercise, what it is that you're dealing with. So it's not so vague, right? Now we're going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, as you consider these experiences, where is your experience now? And 1 would be, this is so bad that it's hard for me to get out of bed. I avoid holidays. Maybe I haven't talked to family in years. Like it's bad. It's as bad as it can be. And a 10 is I'm trusting the process that we are healing. I'm showing up differently. Therefore, my family is showing up differently. And we're all on the right track to healing. All right. Where are you on that scale? Write that number down. This is an intuitive exercise. So whatever pops into your mind, that is your answer. Now we're going to interview that experience. We're going to get to know it. We're going to make the unconscious conscious so that we can decide where we want to make some changes. So the first thing we do is say, what am I thinking in this situation about this family drama experience? What are my thoughts? So look at what's in your circle there, what's in your reality at the moment. And you're going to say, I think, and then write down those thoughts. And then write down, I feel, and what are you feeling? Emotionally, what are you feeling? And if you're feeling nothing, that's okay. Write that down. There are no wrong answers. This is you interviewing your experience. What do you say and do to yourself? What's the internal dialogue? What behaviors do you exhibit or follow through on? So, what actions do you take? And what do you say and do with other people? Now, what do you sense? So just scan your body, send your awareness through your body and notice, is there any place where you're tight? Is there any place, I know for me, family always felt like a knot in my stomach, right? And sometimes when I felt triggered, if I was with family and they said something that just sent my emotions spinning, I would feel hot in my face. All kinds of things would happen. What happens for you? And then finally, what is it that you know about family drama when you're at this energy level? So, what we're talking about right now is where you are is the key, not who you are. Your experience at a 1, a 2, a 3 is going to be very much the experience of somebody else, anybody else at a 1, a 2, or a 3, because that energy level delivers those kinds of experiences. Those lower energy numbers are focused on the problem. And it's not by choice that we focus on the problem. It's that when we're at that lower number, there's a part of us that takes over that is scanning for danger, and it is problem focused. That's just how we're wired. So as we move up through the scale, we shift into different energies. And the next energy that we actually shift into is the intellectual energy, the rational mind that we like to think is always making our decisions, right? But we shift into that part of us, which is actually solution focused. It wants to fix things. It sees the problem, acknowledges problems everywhere, and which it gets from the instincts delivering the message. It sees the problem and then it wants to fix it. So a lot of time is spent kind of wrestling with the same dynamics, and the intellect is very active, usually in family dramas, right? And then that third level of energy is actually intuitive. It's much more curious. It's not so much seeing the problem as wondering about what's going on in the situation. It's a nicer feeling, and our minds are actually clear when we're in those higher zones so that we can think about, how am I showing up? What does this mean to me? Why does somebody saying that to me affect me the way it does, right? You can actually be present and do the exercises that we're doing that help us to bring our unconscious to consciousness, conscious awareness. Okay. So, let's get back on track here with the exercise, and we'll move on to where it is that you're going. On that same scale of 1 to 10, where do you decide you want to have your experience with your family interactions? I always recommend choosing like a 7 or an 8, because the 10 is usually so much farther, so much better than we can even imagine when we've been struggling with the dynamics. At least that was the case for me and the people that I've walked through the program. So it may very well be the case for you as well. Okay, so now that you've chosen your number of where you're going, and that's a very big step because you've just set an intention. You've used your conscious mind for one of the two things that it's really good at. One of them is setting intention. The second one is asking questions that provide the information, insights, and understanding that you need to be able to move forward, to make progress, and to owning your experience and creating a life you love. All right, now we're going to interview ourselves to find out what life is going to be like at that higher number. You're going to decide, you're going to engage your imagination. And this is something that Einstein used to talk about all the time. Albert Einstein, for those of, I don't know, maybe a younger audience, Albert Einstein used to go to classrooms and talk to kids. And when he was asked, what should we work on so that we can be smart like you? And he said, your imagination, grow that imagination. So we're going to do a little bit of that now. On that new scale, with that new number that you're going to be at, what will you be thinking? What thoughts will you be having? What feelings will you be having? Write down, I will feel. What will you be saying and doing? Internal dialogue, self-behavior, and also with others. What will you be saying and doing with others? What will you sense in your body? What will be different? What will be gone? Maybe what will be new? And then finally, what will you know is true for you and your family experience at this new number? This is really important work. This is deep work. And the fact that it comes easily, and maybe it comes easily. A lot of times we're surprised actually at how easily it comes. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Whatever experience you're having is perfectly fine. It's fabulous. You're engaging in this experience. You're giving yourself an opportunity to decide that you want a better experience with your family, and have one, you shall. Okay. So now we're going to ask that question that's going to bring the next steps to us. And the question is, what do I need to know or do in order to move forward on my path from my current experience to my chosen experience? You're putting a big question into your unconscious, and you're going to wait and watch for that answer to come forward. And it can come forward in any number of ways. You could be talking to a friend who could give you the answer. All of a sudden you go, whoa, that's exactly what I've been waiting for. It could pop into your head in the shower like it does when you forget a name or where you left your keys. right? It can come anywhere. It can show up in your dreams. So just keep your antenna up and expect. This is one of those cases where it's okay to expect an answer to come. Just be really open to the fact that it may not be the answer that you expected, right? So we don't know what the answer is going to be. We only know that an answer is coming. Okay, so for more support on this journey, go to masterfulyou.com. On Fridays, you can tune in when my dear friend and colleague Judy Forder and I do a Q&A. We actually answer your questions. If you put comments below in this video, we will answer those questions or discuss your points of view. We're always really interested in engaging because this is about the human journey and our growth and healing. So let's do this. Let's create a world where being happy and healthy is natural. And everyone knows not only that it's possible, but how to go about the process of creating that for themselves, which is this process we're doing here. All right. So thank you for being here today and spending your precious time with me. And most of all, thank you for being you.